All right. All right. Now the formal portion of the program is over. Now's the public comment, where we are here to listen to residents speak, and we have a number of residents who have signed in here today. We'll start with Ray Denny. Hi, good afternoon. If you give your name and address for the record, thanks.
My name is Raz Denny. I live in Uniondale. I have two subjects I basically want to talk to you about. One is in reference to, I just want to give a shout out to one of the people who basically work for you guys, and he covers the Uniondale area. His name is Mr. Peter Caparelli. I have contacted him on several different occasions, and in reference to violations that occurred in Uniondale, and he has been very, very receptive to that, and he does his investigation and does the correction. So I must applaud him for that. Thank you very much for Mr. Caparelli. My other subject matter is Mr. Clavin. There is a flyer that came out with your name on it. And it basically states that you are protecting our suburbs. And you basically went against what the governor had said about trying to build up, the housing, over 30,000 extra people, with the housing in Nassau. But you were against that, which I definitely agree with. But what I don't understand is why you and your council members have not spoken about the mega gambling casino, the third largest that's going to be constructed in Uniondale at the Nassau Coliseum by the Sands Corporation. All of you are fully aware of the pros and cons of a casino. I don't have to tell you about what accompanies that. But if you are basically saying yes to these people, you are giving your blessing to destroy the neighborhood that you said that you would protect. Not only Uniondale, all the surrounding neighborhoods. And all you have to do is basically look on any evidence that is there for you to look at in reference to what a gambling casino does. Around all of these colleges, around all of the elementary schools, etc., we're exposing our children to this. And I don't think it's right. Search your conscience, see what's going on, guys, because election is coming. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Danny. I just want to add to you, though, there is nothing that is guaranteed in life. I will say that to anybody, and I think the town board and I have committed to this, that whatever may or may not be, because there is one proposal and we don't even know if the state's going to get there. I can guarantee you one thing: it's going to be a very open, very transparent, and very inviting air that we're going to ask the residents to come down and give their concerns, if they're for it or if they're against it. That I can guarantee you. So you used the word that. There is no that, and I just want you to rest assured that we're going to make sure that you're informed of it. You're going to have an opportunity to be heard on it, and we're going to represent all the residents in the town of Hempstead. Next, I have Frank Pedigano.
My name is Frank Pedagno. I live at 4 Wellneck Drive in Merrick. My wife and I have lived there since 2001. I'm a 77-year-old Vietnam veteran, and I serve as an officer in the American Legion. A boat lift has been installed in the narrowest part of the canal behind my home. The canal is 39 foot wide, and the lift protrudes 14 feet into the canal and is positioned directly across from my floating dock. It poses a hazard to navigation and greatly reduces the value of my property. In February of 2023, This project began when a barge belonging to Kitson arrived. I spoke with the contractor and learned that plans had been approved to install not one, but 2 boat lifts on the new bulkhead that was being installed. On March 6, 2023, I spoke to Evelyn of the town of Hempstead Waterways, was told that a man named Bob W. would call me to explain the plans. I never heard from Bob W., and the bulkhead work continued. I followed up with Evelyn on May 15th and was again told that Bob W. would contact me to explain the plans. Again, I never heard from Bob W. On Friday, June 16th, the barge began driving piles for the boat lifts. One of the lifts was placed directly opposite my floating dock. My wife spoke to the foreman of the construction team, who is also a crane operator, and he told her he realizes that no traffic will ever be able to get up past the boat lift, and no bulkhead repairs would ever be able to take place since a barge cannot get by the lift. The current status is that the lift has been installed, although a work stoppage is in place. The lift poses a danger to navigation and greatly reduces the value of my property since I cannot use my floating dock. Numerous officials have visited the property and viewed the installed lift. All agreed it must be moved. On January 23rd, I spoke with Sergeant Brennan, the Bay Constable, and told the homeowner was given a choice of either moving the lift or losing it. On August 15th, I finally received a call from Bob W. He explained the approval of the permits for the lift was a mistake. He took full responsibility and said it must be moved. On August 25th, my neighbor Gary Moses and I met with Mr. Doheny, Commissioner of the Waterways for the town of Hempstead. I presented my resume, a copy of the document prepared by another homeowner, and Gary presented photos and measurements. As of today, the lift remains. It was approved by mistake and represents a hazard to navigation.
Okay, we have a 3-minute. I'm going to direct the town attorney to take your contact information so you can talk to the town attorney directly about this. You know, he's going to follow up with you.
As soon as the meeting's over, Mr.
He's going to get you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, thank you. Next, your councilwoman.
Okay, next person I have is Frank Patagoni. That's, oh, you, okay, so you finished. Okay, Gary Moses.
I live next door to Mr. Pagano, and what he's saying is correct. The boat lift is a violation of town regulations. I've been an environmental consultant and design professional for environmental structures for 23 years. Prior to that, I was a member of the New York City Police Department. I retired as a police captain. I spent 5 years in the NYPD Marine Bureau reviewing these structural plans. For the City of New York, for their Corporation Council, I've done interagency operations with the Army Corps of Engineers, the New York State DEC, etc. This boat lift is in strong violation of town regulations. The town regulations has very strong wording that forbids any type of seaward structure to take up more than 25% of the canal. This structure takes up 35% of the canal. How this got approved, I have no idea. Mr. Picano has a mooring float that extends 7 feet into the canal. This float extends 13 feet into the canal. That's 20 feet plus the hardware that maintains these structures. Your 22 feet of the canal is being taken up with a 39-foot canal. If Mr. Pagano puts a boat in front of his house, it'll be another 9 feet. It'll be impossible for anybody to pass that area. An average construction barge measures about 23 feet in width. That's the smallest one I know of in Nassau County. There is no way anybody will ever be able to get any work done on their property. No bulkheads are going to be able to be installed, no mooring floats. This guy, what you allowed is you allowed this guy to have a water park in his backyard. He has 2 mooring floats, 2 boat lifts, a jet ski float. I mean, nobody on the canal has that. I mean, it's like crazy. I think what happened was, as an environmental consultant, is that you have nobody reviewing these permits. You have the most waterfront property in the 2 counties, and you have one person that reviews them on a part-time basis for 4 hours every week. You need a bigger staff. I mean, this should have never happened. You've evaluated 9 properties. I mean, I couldn't give my house away right now. I mean, and nobody's going to come. I mean, the flood insurance alone is close to $4,000. And not being able to put a boat there or get any type of work done on my property is crazy. I mean, how could this have gotten approved? Like I said, you have one person that comes in part-time that reviews all these applications. I mean, there are towns that have 17 people that review them. The town of Hempstead has the lowest application fees in the 2 counties. I mean, for a bulkhead replacement, you charge 50 cents a foot. It's like crazy. I mean, you have to just increase your fees and hire people to review these permits.
Okay, thank you, sir.
We'll get some information and we'll get back to you either this afternoon or tomorrow.
Okay. All right, thank you. The next person is Philip Bacacci.
Felix Procacci, Franklin Square. At the September 6th hearing regarding the Capri Motel, when asked whether the town provided the 10-day notice of the August 31st hearing to the property owner, Supervisor Clavin indicated the town's outside counsel addressed this at the prior meeting. Mr. Macy said the notice of a hearing under Chapter 91 to declare a premises a public nuisance must be in writing and served not less than 10 days prior to the hearing. Also, Mr. Macy refers to a second predicate notice saying it is dated August 22nd and is provided, it sets forth the date and the time of the hearing that we are conducting today. What Mr. Macy does not say is the notice was provided 10 days prior to the August 31st meeting because it was provided only 9 days in violation of the law. When asked whether the town uploaded the exhibits to its website prior to the meeting in accordance with 103E, Clavin refused to answer the question. On September 8th, one of the town's outside lawyers testified in court that Section 103E only requires the town to provide supporting records for resolutions when a discussion is planned. Although this is incorrect, it is clear that the town board did intend to discuss the Capri Motel issue, but still did not provide the required records according to the town's own interpretation of Section 103E. It also appears that the town attorney, John Macarone, is also unfamiliar with Section 103E, telling the lawyer for the Capri Motel, Mr. Macy, as a courtesy, gave you a copy of those exhibits. Let's be clear, the town is required by law to provide reference records of resolutions on its website 24 hours prior to the meeting in which they are subject of discussions and upon request at town board meetings. Mr. Macarone also incorrectly says, I don't believe anyone has predetermined anything. But the signs posted on August 7th state premises has been declared a public nuisance. This is a predetermination because the public nuisance hearing wasn't even noticed yet and was held 3 weeks later. Finally, the notice for the first predicate arrest did not include a copy of the town's Chapter 91 law, and the so-called second predicate arrest did not even occur at the Capri Motel. It occurred across the street. So the facts show that the August 31st hearing was not warranted to declare the Capri Motel a public nuisance. Hopefully in the near future, the town officials will study the laws required to properly do their job. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. McCutcheon, thank you. Okay, next I have Leo Steiner.
Leo Stimler, 67 Huntington Road, a resident there since 1979. I'd like to speak about the Sands Casino and my concerns. I'm concerned about the roads, what's going to happen to our roads, what's going to happen to traffic, what's going to happen to air quality, what's going to happen to the drugs that this casino brings in, what about escort services? But most important, I'm concerned about our water, not just the quality, but the quantity of water. Recently, on September the 11th, the New York Times said that there's a very bad crisis occurring with our underground water supply. It said America is draining its groundwater like there's no tomorrow. And the article of September 11th, just about 3 weeks ago, it specifically mentioned corn yields in Kansas and drinking water running short on Long Island. So I would ask you, when you have your hearing, to make sure about what's going on with our groundwater, not just the quality, but the quantity. Adding 23,000 people coming in every day, how does that impact? The other thing I wanted to mention is I know there's going to be tremendous pressure on you. I see that Fox News said that if this casino goes through, it means $100 million to Nassau County, town of Hempstead, and surrounding communities. That's tremendous pressure on you. So I pray, I hope that you will be strong in your hearings and investigate. I hope the hearings, your hearings, will not be like the Nassau County hearings that were back in May for the lease. And I'd like to give you just one quick example of the terrible things that went on there. David Patterson, who, as you know, is the former governor, he is also a consultant, a vice president for the Sands Casino. He never mentioned that. And what's worse, Nassau County never, the legislators never said to Governor Patterson, you know, do you have any vested interest? He's a vice president. He's not speaking as a former governor, but that's what he said he was. That's who he said he was, and that's how Nassau County addressed him. He's the vice president. He's getting paid. So that's terrible. So I hope when you have your hearing, I hope you will address and make sure that anyone who comes to the podium to speak about the Sands Casino, they identify at the time their vested interests. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Earl Jacobs.
Pearl Jacobs, Uniondale. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has identified Uniondale as one of 5 Nassau County communities that have been adversely affected by air pollution. DEC's year-long study clearly identified high traffic on Hempstead Turnpike and Uniondale's proximity to Hempstead Turnpike, Meadowbrook Parkway, and Northern Parkway as the primary source of Uniondale's poor air quality. A casino project at the Nassau Coliseum site would increase traffic significantly, adding approximately 30,000 more vehicles to the current 100,000 to 170,000 daily average, resulting in further deterioration of Uniondale's air quality. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has identified Uniondale as a community that is of high concern for the health of children and the elderly, who are most susceptible to respiratory illnesses, primary illness being asthma. Now here I have the Nassau County health indicators by race and ethnicity for the 2018-2020 data. It says asthma hospitalizations per 10,000 population for our white residents is 3.9%. For our black and people of color is 16.5%. That's asthma hospitalizations. Asthma hospitalizations per 10,000 population aged for our youth 0 to 17, 5.5% for our white residents, and 23.3% for our black and residents and people of color. As stated on the September 13th NYC DEC, Department of Environmental Conservation meeting, community air monitoring call, a call where Ms. Gooseby, you attended. The next step for the New York State DEC is to implement emission reduction strategies with the goal of designing programs and projects to reduce emission and exposure in communities that have been adversely affected by air pollution. Also stated on the call was that local government and the state Department of Transportation collaboration is needed in order to reduce high traffic concentration in affected communities. My question to the town is, how will the town of Hempstead work with the state agencies to achieve the goal of improving Uniondale's air quality? And we are definitely opposed to the rezoning at the Coliseum. And I must say that disparities are rooted in systematic inequalities that, if left ungoverned, morphs into environmental injustice. Say no to the casino.
Thank you, Ms. Pearl Jacobs. I happen not to be a tenant. I am the person who's in charge of that whole thing. Okay, next is Mr.
Ms. Goolsbee, if you're in
Mr.
charge of it, you did not
Chris
mention anything on the
Jacobs.
call. Thank you
Mr.
very
Chris
much.
Jacobs.
You didn't have any input on that call. As an elected representative,
Chris-
you should have
Mr.
had some
Jacobs?
input.
Jacobs, you've been here before. The 3 minutes is up.
I'm not talking to you. Good. I'm talking to my supposed council.
Ms. Jacobs, your 3 minutes is up. Thank you. Have a good day.
That's not good for her. That shows the ignorance. Don't worry about it.
Good afternoon, Chris Jacobs, to Uniondale, New York. With regard to the proposed casino project, Uniondale in particular, as mentioned before, is plagued by daily gridlock, which contributes to adverse air pollution. I see it every day. I commute every day over there. It's gridlock from 4:30 in the afternoon to 8:30 at night, and vice versa in the morning. There's no alternative roads in Hempstead Turnpike. You know, it's just over there by itself. The alternate parallel roads to that is very far away. So with regards to the Sands Casinos project, I don't understand how adding 30,000 vehicles to a given location and traveling over there will improve our air quality and traffic situation. Also, I want to touch on, I just received an email last Friday with the Around the Town email from Supervisor Clavin. And it was very nice that I mentioned 2 meetings ago about LED signs should be posted, LED signs should be erected at every major school crossing, such as the elementary schools in particular. I saw that they installed 2 new ones in the Valley Stream School District, which is very nice, and I'm appreciative of that. But I want to mention that in reference to California Avenue, Northern Parkway School in Uniondale, and many other schools throughout the town of Hempstead, that every day, you know, there's a problem with speeding throughout residential communities, a lot of elementary schools and other middle schools and high schools, but most of the elementary schools I'm talking about, they're located off of main roads and also off of residential roads where people speed through all the time. I know everybody here witnesses that. So I really would like to I'm curious on my initiative that I'm trying to, hopefully the town will do, is that every school crossing should have LED signs. It doesn't matter where it's at. They always talk about strategic locations, but I believe every single school is a strategic location due to the fact that, as I'll see this afternoon, I'm driving around, I'll see the little kids coming out. Certain schools, you know, I don't understand why certain schools have them, certain ones don't. I believe that they should be active everywhere. So just a quick point for you guys. Do you have any idea when they should be at every school? I mean, is there an initiative going on? I know they have the Back to School Safety Initiative, so I'm trying to figure out, well, is the intent of the town of Hempstead to have it at every school crossing for every school in the town of Hempstead? Okay. So you could take that advisement, as Don Clayman loves to say. So basically my thing is, hopefully in the near future, all the schools will have, in particular California Avenue, Northern Parkway School, because, you know, that's near how should the people speed down California Avenue, and then every school should have them in. That's all I have to say about that. Have a great day.
Okay, Mr. John McFeely? John McFeely.
Good afternoon, John McFeely, 46 Chestnut Street, Garden City. Supervisor Clavin several times today mentioned the benefit of constituents raising interesting issues and opening discussion about them. On July 29th, I sent each of you an email in that spirit. The email concerned the issue of approval or non-approval of the Sands Casino project. You've heard this afternoon from other speakers what the issues of concern are. There's no need for me to get into that again. Traffic, crime, drugs, water. But since I hadn't heard from any of you since I wrote that email, not even a form letter, I decided that today I could come and open a discussion with you about those issues. So here I am, I'm about to open a discussion, and 3 or 4 of you aren't even here. So I would ask, please tell your fellow members what I had to say and why I was disappointed in not hearing from them or from you. If it would help matters, I have copies of that letter with me. I'd be happy to hand them out to you. Thank you.
Okay, let me see. Monica Akili? Maybe that's pronounced K-I-E-L-Y.
Good morning, Town Council members. I am also disappointed to see that my fellow residents, Don Clavin and Muscarella, have left the dais. I took a restroom break as well, but I'm back. They seem to be gone for quite a long time now, and I think it's because they don't want to hear what I have to say, sadly. I'm here with some members of our group, Say No to the Casino. Mr. Clavin may say that this discussion is premature and, we're going to have hearings and meetings. That's great. We want to know what Mr. Clavin's position is, what the town board's position is. It's a zoning matter, yes, but it's within your hands to block this casino, and I'd like to go over some of the reasons why. The location is all wrong. This is a suburb. You want to protect our suburbs? Las Vegas Sands has applied for a colossal casino with a gambling floor that is larger than 7 football fields. Second largest casino in the United States, right in the middle of a residential area. It's the wrong place for it. Besides Hofstra University and Nassau Community College, there are preschools, primary schools, secondary schools, including Kellenberg. Also, Hebrew Academy of Nassau County is close by. The total number of students within a 6-mile radius of the proposed casino is 60,000 students. And I want to ask the Town of Hempstead Council members, would you want your child at that college or at that high school or at one of those, your grandchild maybe at one of those daycare centers so close to the casino? I don't think so. I'm going to skip over crime. That's been covered and will be covered in detail. Cost to taxpayers. How are we going to keep a lid on taxes when we are inviting in a net tax loser to this county? I don't care that the tax projections are $150 million a year or whatever the phony baloney number is. The Sands has already applied to the IDA for a tax break. So whatever taxes they're promising, cut it by a lot. In addition to that, there will be municipal costs all over Nassau County. We will need more police all over Nassau County because we all know that casinos bring crime. They bring new gambling addicts, and desperate people do desperate things. We will need more police, more fire department response, more EMS, tax dollars, increased taxes to pay for these services. We have volunteer firefighters. We have a crisis in our county.
Time is up. The next person up is...
We're kind of tired of this 3-minute limit. We ran into this at Nassau County.
Still here? Okay. Diane Madden? She's not here?
No, she's right there, Diane Madden.
Oh, Diane?
Yes, she's there.
Okay.
Your turn.
Are you next?
Yes, she's finished. 3 minutes, please.
Okay. I want to say
You're
one more
finished.
thing.
You're finished. I'm sorry. I'm sorry your time is
Excuse
up.
me, is this your role here on the town
Yes,
council?
this is my role right here now. Your time is up.
No, we were disrespected in this way at
Yes, I'm
Nassau
sorry, but we have to
County.
follow the 3-minute rule. Everybody has to follow it. That's a rule.
Good luck getting volunteer firefighters to come put things out
Thank
at
you,
the
miss.
casino.
Have a good day.
Come on, Diane Madden. I wouldn't want my children around her.
Diane Madden, Hempstead. I wanted to review, there was a resolution that passed on, August 1st. That resolution has left the animals very unprotected. It was a resolution that basically puts a price tag on what they consider to be long-term unadoptable animals that, by the way, become unadoptable when they don't have the resources they need. That resolution has allowed for the unlimited amount of dogs and cats to be transferred to an unlimited, uninspected facilities for unlimited tax dollars. Now, I was really happy to hear that Supervisor Clavin was interested in guidelines. I handed those guidelines in. I've not heard anything back. I think it's imperative, and I encourage all of you to make sure those safety guidelines are put in place, not only today and moving forward, but because of situations and events that have left animals in very dangerous conditions and places that have been shut down for cruelty. I also, as per the supervisor, provided lost and found policies and procedures and suggested, that was back in April, to prevent when Spirit, the cat that was destroyed recently, was killed. And I did that to prevent another situation which happened with Toast. So again, I'm going to remind this board and encourage this administration to work with these wonderful people, try to get some policies and procedures changed, some enforced. You need 2 full-time on-site veterinarians. I saw recently the Nassau County Police Department put an advertisement for jobs, and their motto was to be part of the change. So when Hempstead says they're searching for veterinarians, no one knows it. They have a 34,000 follower page. It's very easy to post that you're searching for veterinarians, and it would come at least a 75% savings versus the amount of money that's being spent on contracted vets. I also suggested that after meeting with some of the volunteers at the shelter, they're hoping that some pre-COVID dog walking hours are returned. I was under the impression the supervisor was reviewing that. That was probably about 6 weeks ago. I think it's important. There's approximately 90 dogs right now. You've had an influx of homeless dogs lately to the point where they have to sometimes house them in cat cages. So I think it's important at the very least, while hopefully you're looking into professionals to bring in, to allow these animals to get socialized.
Okay, thank you. Next is Kay Riordan. Okay, yeah, Karen.
Hi, my name is Karen Riordan, and I'm a resident of Nassau County. This is my first time speaking with you, as I'm here today to express my opposition to the rezoning of the hub for the Las Vegas Sands Casino. For almost a decade now, I have worked as a lead with Moms Demand Action, dedicating my life's work to reducing crime in my community, seemingly before it became politically fashionable. I was excited to see in the last election that Long Island was getting tough on crime and hopeful that we would be a national leader in reducing crime and gun violence. Instead, our elected officials who are sworn to protect us are about to greenlight a casino, which is known to increase many types of crime. According to the FBI crime statistics, in counties with casinos, 9% of the total crime is due to gambling. If a casino is built, we can expect an increase in human trafficking, drug trafficking, personal assaults, gang activity, property theft, burglary, drunk driving. All of these things will increase in Nassau County. In other words, you can't be tough on crime and be pro-casino. This is why Las Vegas Sands plans to fund a police station on the premise and to contribute up to $1.8 million for policing. because they know crime will increase if a casino is built. Given this knowledge, why would you put your constituents at risk? Crime is a byproduct of a gambling addiction, which, as Newsday has reported, is already at an all-time high on Long Island. Why then pour gasoline on a fire with building the world's second largest casino here? Did you know that the American Psychiatric Association has listed gambling disorders in the same addiction category as heroin and opioid addictions? Yeah, we are in for a world of hurt. Please don't unleash this harm to the 30,000 students adjacent to the hub and to our communities who are just getting settled after pandemic setbacks. Sadly, if a casino is approved, this will be your legacy. Is this really what you want for your community, your family, and for yourselves? You won't be able to say, "I wish I had known." And there's no such thing as going back. Las Vegas Sands doesn't have any other casinos in the United States. All others are in Asia. They often buy a place, they stay for a certain amount of time until they can turn a profit, and then they sell. They will be out of here. They are not going to be long-term neighbors, and the residents of Nassau County deserve better. And the voters of Nassau won't forget who sold their futures. I urge you to say no to the casino. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leslie Simmons, 115 Lynbrook Avenue, Point Lookout. I spoke at the last meeting about serious change about the animal shelter. My cat Spirit was one of the cats that was unnecessarily euthanized. He was picked up by Town of Hempstead just a few feet from my property, taken to Central Vet, deemed in poor condition even though all of his vitals were fine. The $1,500 worth of tests they ran all came back normal except for the leg, which he had broken a year before. I spent $4,000 to have that leg healed. They deemed it healed but not well. It was healed very well. Anyway, I spoke at the last meeting. So did Scott and Joan Craig, whose cat Toast was also picked up by Town of Hempstead, just a short distance from their house, and taken first to the Wantagh vet, who said he was a little dehydrated, taken back to the shelter, hydrate him. But they somehow took him to Central Vet, same vet that euthanized my cat. That vet, well, for one thing, whatever happened in the van, that cat was brought in with its leg damaged and with his temperature extremely low, which it wasn't at the Wantagh vet. The Central Vet, again, made the decision to euthanize that cat. Yet another pet, only shortly after my cat was euthanized. We poured out our hearts here at the last meeting. We had about 30 people also here in support. We were really disappointed after all of that. My daughter followed up with emails. We heard nothing back from anyone. We got no apologies, no sorry, no nothing. Then the night of the meeting, my daughter and Scott Craig were interviewed by Channel 12. The station aired it that night, ran the story about our concerns about what had happened, and it was very disappointing and insulting to see the response from the Town of Hempstead. Basically, the response from the spokesperson was that it's within the realm of I don't know what the exact words were, but basically indicating that ill animals sometimes have to be put to sleep in favor and in support and in the most humane ways. Our cats, neither Toast nor Spirit, were ill animals. We gave you the medical reports which said these animals had normal vitals, but suddenly the Town of Hempstead said our cats were ill and in their own best interest needed to be put down. That couldn't have been farther from the case. So one, I would like an apology, because no one obviously listened to the words we said at the last meeting. Nobody listened, because that spokesperson never should have put out that response. I will also leave my email, because I would like someone to get in touch with me, and I would like you to talk to all of our families that have been affected.
Hi, Tate Simmons, 115 Limbrook Avenue. Okay, so I have a whole speech prepared for today. I am brought to emotion right now because I'm looking at an empty board. I took off work, I'm losing money to be here, and Don Clavin can't even sit and listen to me. My mom just spoke about my cat, who, again, Don's not here. I sent a heartfelt email giving you guys an opportunity to apologize and work with us. I'm trying to be understanding. I'm trying to be collected in this, but it is beyond frustrating looking at that chair empty right now. So I'm just going to eat some of my time with that. I have not heard a single response from anyone on this board. So as a decent human being, having some sort of empathy for this situation with my cat, the Craig's cat, with all the animals that have died under, a bizarre situation, which I'm here kind of wondering if the town of Hempstead is purposely working with Central Vet to have these older pets euthanized. Let's be honest, older animals aren't adoptable, and it's a bit odd that no one is responding. There's not one sense of genuine response to this. So I'm going to eat up all my time and ask you questions. Chris Carini, I appreciate you saying you were concerned last time. I was very frustrated when I got up here and I had no response, and none of the advocates here had a response as well. So I'm here today to ask you, what has been done? I heard that after I spoke at the last town meeting 2 weeks ago, that a private letter was sent within the animal shelter saying to stop animals from being sent to Central Vet. That's great. What does that mean? Was the contract severed? Can we expect for it to be severed? Is it under investigation? Can you provide me with a little bit of insight on this?
Well, first let me say, and I think I speak for all the town board members, even only being the town attorney, that we are deeply sorry for your loss. And if that wasn't expressed properly to you through the social media and the statement put out, I can say for sure that the supervisor has taken the issues very, very seriously. I will say that we've taken your concerns, and it's our intention to look into the issues you've raised. And I will tell you that with regard to Central Vet, the town has suspended all operations with them. Okay, and we're in the process of looking into obtaining services through possibly an RFP in the future for the things that they've done for the town in the past. So you can rest assured that no animals are being sent to Central Vet at this point.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And I appreciate the communication. It would have been easier if that was over email, but I appreciate you coming forward about that today. There's also a huge problem with just a lost and found protocol in general, and suspending the vet from Central Vet is great, and I'm very happy to hear that. But with a $5.5 million shelter, which taxpayers are paying for, I'm just curious, we've talked about bringing on-site vets. The animals still need vet care that are there. Just because Central Vet is gone is one problem, and I'm happy it's being addressed. But now looking at the protocol and the in-house vets, that also has to be addressed. Again, I've taken off work for this subject. I will keep pushing for this. If I could have someone, just somebody on this board talk to me, just one person, 5 minutes of your time. I don't want to feel like I'm talking to robots here. I used to love Town of Hempstead. I'm sitting here right now looking at all the amazing people around me, and the lack of empathy coming from the board, and you addressing me is I'm honestly really happy about that, but I need to talk to somebody, and I want to help make sure that these changes are going in place with Diane Madden, who is amazing and knows the protocols like the back of her hand. So if someone on the board could please reach out to me, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
My name is Darlene Hout. I live at 205 Blackheath in Lido Beach. I am the president of the Lido Homes Civic Association, and I am speaking on behalf of our civic association. Personally, and our civic support clean energy. We support onshore wind, solar, nuclear, but our civic unanimously is against an offshore wind turbine cable running through residential neighborhoods. That is what is proposed to happen with the Empire Wind offshore cable project right south of Lido Beach. No one in the town of Hempstead has officially come out against Empire Wind 2, and we have reached out to you by email several times. We had a representative from town of Hempstead come to a meeting, and they said that they were collecting information. That was several months ago. And the town of Hempstead is in receipt of intervenor funds, that's money, from the proposal, the sponsors of the proposal, to look into the situation and determine if they are for or against it. The time is now for the town of Hempstead to oppose offshore wind. The process is now in what's called an Article 7, and it's being determined by the Public Service Commission if it will be approved. Long Beach, the cable from the project was proposed to make landfall in Long Beach, the city of Long Beach. Long Beach said no. So now it's coming to Lido unless the town of Hempstead says no. We need you to say no. Originally, Lido was an alternative site. With Long Beach saying no, we are the site. What we do know right now is that Equinor is a foreign corporation. Our energy rates will go up. It is a fact that they even say that. What we need to worry about, the EMF cables from the wind project, they will go right in front of residential homes. They go through Lido, Island Park, and actually go slightly through Long Beach. It is detrimental to sea life and will impact fishermen, whales. It is inconclusive what is happening to the health of residents from these EMF cables. It can cause cancer. No money is worth the health of the residents. What is the alternative? Go through Jones Beach. There is now something called Juno Express. It is a cable that is laid down in Jones Beach and is not being used. It can go through there. It goes right up the Wantagh and will not hit a residential area. Please, silence implies consent. We need Town of Hempstead to answer a question. Do they support the cable going through residential neighborhoods in the town of Hempstead?
Ma'am, I just want to address certain things. I will tell you that the supervisor and all the members of the town board have expressed their concern with regard to this. You are correct. We applied for and obtained intervenor funds. Not only has my office and I been actively monitoring this situation, and you mentioned the process, and the process isn't complete, and there will be settlement conferences in the future that the town will be actively engaged in. They haven't occurred yet. We've also retained outside counsel at significant expense. Okay, so the supervisor and the town board are absolutely concerned about this process. We're going to continue to monitor it, and we're going to make sure that the town of Hempstead is protected and its residents are protected.
Concern is not opposition, though. We need a formal statement that opposes a cable going through a residential.
Your time is up, please.
Thank you.
All right, Patricia Chester.
Before my time starts here, I came and sat waiting to speak with Don Clavin. I'd like my time postponed.
I'm sorry he's not here. He had something very important that he had to do. Sometimes you have to walk away and take care of those things too. He's not here.
Ms. Gorella. Those are the two I came to ask their to ask a question about, and they get up and walk out?
They had to leave. I'm sure there's some time in your life where
When
you.
can I
I'm
speak
sorry.
with them in a public forum prior to the election?
If you want to stay there and speak, you stay there. But he's not here. And as I told you, he had something
Don't you think
extremely
an
important.
announcement should be made, wasting people's time, sitting, waiting to talk to an empty board? It's disgraceful, and it's going to be mentioned on social media.
Let's see, sir. That was her. Let's see now. Catherine Quinn is the next person.
She had to go home. We're all taking off from work.
Okay. See some. All right. Let's see. Greg Nahum. Greg. That's him. That was him. No, here's the last one here.
Board, good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm also disappointed that we don't have a full board with the supervisor because I was here in March and I brought and made a presentation how poor and unsafe the roads were in Lido Beach on the north side. And I met with the commissioners of highway and engineers, and they put in a plan and they got done. And I wanted to say thank you personally. That's nice because it was very unsafe. But moving forward, right now, we're looking for the answer on the offshore cable coming in. Chris, can you give us an answer? Are you for it or against it?
The issue is it's got to come before this board first. So that we have to actually have a public hearing if anything does come before us, so I can't give you an answer beforehand. But we are listening to concerns. We heard what happened in Long Beach, and we will listen. But there's no application, am I correct, Mr. Town Attorney, on anything coming through our property at this time, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, Chris, in the next week, can you give me a date today, later, that you could come to a meeting with our residents in the evening of this week or next, this coming week? So who should I speak to? We're trying to get this together because as we speak, it's moving forward, okay? And this is going to be a love canal, okay? Because that cable is going to give off toxic materials, toxic scents, because telecommunication companies run their wires. Those are low voltage cables, and they come into a vault. Those vaults, they give off carbon monoxide, methane gas. That comes from low voltage. What is this cable going to do? And our water table is right there. We have aquifers. It's going to be in concrete, but this comes through the concrete, okay? We'd like to get a meeting with you, Chris. Chris, we'd like to get a meeting, and I know you could go on can't you go on your phone right now and chat upstairs and get back to me with a meeting now?
Excuse me,
Before I leave
sir,
here
but if
today?
he asks you to send something to his office, he does have an office, so if you need something from him, because we're even not to even talk to you, it's not supposed to, talk to you, it's the time for you.
Who's the person in the office to speak to? What's the person's
Email
name?
my office, they'll respond to you. This is public comments, so please speak.
We can't at this time, we're not supposed to, this is public comment.
Counsel, I can't get I'm asking a civil question, an easy question. Who do we speak to? Who's the point person in the office? That's all I'm asking. Who should I contact?
Explain to you need to email his office and he'll
I
get
can't
back.
hear you.
I said that Councilman has indicated to contact his office by email and he'll get back to you.
Okay. I just want to say that the supervisor, there's nothing guaranteed, there's nothing for sure. There's only one thing that's for sure, that we all will pass away.
Sir,
But I'm
your
wearing
time
this
is
hat.
up now, I'm sorry.
But I want to say, I've worked with many people in many elections, okay, and this is election time coming up. Everybody works well in getting out to their people, okay? This hat is the Jack Martin, who lost by 300 votes. Sir, your time is expired, please sit. Thank you. Respect the next speaker, sir. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Christopher Christopher?
Thank you very much.
Is he here? I think that's it. Okay, no one else? That's it.